66%. Driving over the speed limit again. 2 over the speed limit so far. Alrighty folks, welcome back to Cumberland Charge Part 3. We are currently located at Viaduct Junction, and our final part of this mission is to go from here to there, which is probably going to take a whole hour to get through. We'll see how this goes, but we're not going to be able to go that fast, so to speak. It's probably going to be like 35-40 miles an hour, and that's it, at least until we get much closer to the bottom. Like this whole bottom piece is like 50. It's really dealing with this stuff here, and our issue right now is we got a train that is sitting on a 1.2% grade all the way back here, which is a pretty darn big train. We have a set of train cars that's 54 big and nearly 8,000 tons big in terms of this train, and we've already got these engines set up from the last episode. All we have to do is just take the train the rest of the way down to Cumberland Station and onto the Cumberland Yard itself, and we've already got the clearance, if I remember right. If I click this, it says proceed as signals indicate. We got a green light. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the throttle up. So we're going to start throttle 1 first, and then throttle 2. We're going to start to turn off our automatic brake, and hopefully our train will not roll backwards as we let our brake pipe fill up to 89. And once we get to 89, we're going to start to release our independent brake. Okay, I think this is good enough. We can start to release our independent brake a little bit. And let's see what happened to our train here. We're rolling backwards for sure, so we're going to have to get throttle 3 to get us moving here. So let's go ahead and put our independent brake back to full application. Automatic brake back to full service here, and throttle 3 now. We're going to do this from throttle 3, brake off, and release the independent brake, bail that one off, and let's go ahead and go to throttle 4. We might have to do some sand. We don't need any sand. This is good. Our train's moving. We had a little bit of a wheel slip problem. I saw that there. What I might do is set up the lead engine just to have a little bit of sand, if it doesn't already do it for me. We'll see what happens. Oh, we got a green light. This is nice. It looks like we're going to be okay on throttle 4. I think I'm going to leave it on throttle 4. The sun is already setting, so at some point in this episode, I'm probably going to have to do some post-processing here for the view, so that way you guys can see what's going on. In fact, I might even do it now, just to make sure I've got some post-processing happening. With throttle 4, we should be okay. It's just a matter of getting this back end of the rail car to get us moving here and get this train going. Once I get to about 5 or 6 miles an hour, I should be in pretty good shape. Realistically, once I get to probably about 10 miles an hour, I'll be in good shape. But all I want to do is get this far enough forward so that way I can at least drop into dynamic brakes. The issue with this one is going downhill dynamic brake the entire way, and our goal here is to get 9,000 AP altogether. We're currently at 4,110, which means we're going to have another 4,000 AP points just to get to Viaduct Junction up here, about 15 miles away, and then the final trip should be relatively easy. So we're just going to do this video going forward through the rest of this. I almost slipped all the way backwards. The good thing I caught that just in time. If this was Train Sim 4, I might not have gotten a platinum point for it. But I'm having some fun with the alerters and the warning system just to see how I do with this. Going forward from here, this is actually the sign that says that's the top of the summit. Everything else after this is going to be dynamic brake going downhill. At some point this level, our grade here is going to be flipping over and it's going to be starting to roll downhill. And so we're going to try to work with this as best we can, nice and easy. Just take our time to speed up our train first and then get our train to go downhill after. We still got a ways to get all of this over to where I am there. We got an alerter problem. So let's go ahead and start throttling down. We're already going down a hill. So we're going to go ahead and turn the throttle off. We're going to hope for the best that our train momentum can get us going. 1, 2, 3. What's probably going to happen is our train's going to slow down quite a bit going into this tunnel here, and we're just going to kind of coast this as best we can, and we'll let our speed just naturally speed up on its own. We might speed up at some point, especially where that 60 mile an hour zone is, but I don't believe that's a true 60. Let's get outside of this tunnel here, because we're going to have to go around this curve here, and I doubt that's going to be 60 miles an hour for any of these curves over here. But we're going to roll through it as best we can. We might as well hang out here because this view looks so much better than the other views. And to be honest, if you're in this engine, you might actually turn off the inside lights. But if you did this, you can't see a single thing but your gauges. And that's a terrible position to be in when you're inside this tunnel. So unfortunately, you're going to be stuck with the lights on. And you won't be able to see very much trying to do that. I still can't believe, by the way, as we roll down this hill, that the little blinky light is still sitting in the front there. It's just the weirdest thing. Why they didn't move it onto the other side, I don't even know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on dynamic brake 1 just to have that handy because we're starting to speed up a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and turn on dynamic brake 2. And what I'm looking for is something to kind of slow us down just enough but keep us rolling also. That tunnel just bumped my head right there. So there's our 60-mile zone. As soon as we come out of the tunnel, we can actually go a little bit faster than where we're going right now. And I'm going to go ahead and go down to dynamic 1 because I want to try to get as close as I can to 30 as I can. And actually, by the time we hit that light up there, this train is about, 2,900 feet big. So we know by the time we hit that light, the back end will be going through the tunnel. Let's go ahead and do 2 to keep this roughly at 28, 29 miles an hour. Pull that back a little bit. So this is the tricky part about going down the sand patch grade. You really got to pay attention to your speed limit. And right now we're going pretty darn fast down this hill. What we might have to do is initial reduction if we're lucky. Oh god, don't have me turn. Okay, thank goodness. We're going to go ahead and do initial reduction. We're still driving under the speed limit, thank goodness. Automatic brake to 24%. And that should about get me back down to 29 at this point. At least until the thing goes back up to 60. And I'm a little worried about that 60 mile an hour zone because it was a fake 60 mile an hour zone. So I'm really happy I didn't go 60 at this point. I'm going to do a little bit more automatic brake there. There's my 29. That's what I'm looking for. And on the inside, this is essentially what I want. I want to try to get as close to 0 as possible. This is the tricky part, trying to figure out the right speed that you're trying to get this engine to go in. Also paying attention to crossings. Also paying attention to other stuff going on. That is a gorgeous picture of this train rolling down the hill and just freaking me out because it's at 29 miles an hour now. Let's go ahead and hit a little bit more automatic brake there. And you can see what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is work off of my dynamic brake as much as I can. Just burn that thing as much as you can because what's happening is as I turn that on, it is basically... Ooh, that was way too much right there. It's basically using the system itself in the brake system to recharge the brakes. And what I want to do is try to avoid using this here as much as I can. So I want to try to see if I can preserve this as much as I can. I got 77 in my pipe. I've also got a little bit in my reserve, 136. And I've only got whatever I can get out of the engine brake. So I don't want to use the engine brake too much here. And what I'm looking forward for right now is the 35 zone, because then I could just release this automatic brake, recharge my brakes, and get lucky to kind of just let this thing roll through. It looks like we're going to be going under 27. Ow. Twice I got hit in the face there with that. That was just terrible. Gotta hate when those like singles just bonk you in the face here. So let's go ahead and drop this off to initial reduction. In fact, we're going to recharge our brakes right now. And you can see our reserve drop down a little bit as we did that. Another 35 mile an hour zone, and I could probably release the brakes twice here as I roll over these 235 zones. It's going right over the crossing, so it should be any minute now. It should be switching to 35 miles an hour. Come on, I want that speed limit change. Oh, geez, wow, my train's really going. Okay, I'm starting to lose my brakes here. Oh, what happened? It switched to 20. What the heck? Did you see that? It said 35, but it's actually 25. What the heck, man? It gets me every time when it does that. This is actually going pretty well if I've only sped twice so far. Oh, here comes the train. There's a train coming in my direction. There it goes. That's not a bad picture right there. We're coming around a 30-mile-an-hour zone. We better go back up to 7 just to make sure that we slow down. We got a whistle stop here. Where is this? Myerdale? This is not Myerdale. Where is this one? I'm still speeding up. Okay, great. Well, then I'm going to have to put this on Dynamic 8 then. I know, you're going fast, dude. Go in front of the train, try to get away from the sound a little bit. Maybe this is Ellerslie. There's no station here, so I can't tell you what it is. I bet you it's Ellerslie. There's that retirement thing again right there. Call for retirement anytime. Bell off. Let's go ahead and put the automatic brake to initial reduction. And, oh, it gave us the 35-mile zone. Wow, we actually got 30 mile an hour. Cool. Well, okay. I don't know if it's going to give me something less, but I'm going to work with it. Wow, that's kind of a shocker. Oh yeah, definitely going too much right there. I'm hoping 7 can hold it. I doubt 7's going to hold it. So we're going to probably have to go back up to... Yeah, we're going to have to go back up to 8. I can see it's rising. Alerter, just for the heck of it. And it wants to do 29, so we're going to do initial reduction one more time. And that hopefully will start to pull it back a little bit. There it goes. That helped. Alright folks, so let's see where we are on this map. We're coming up on the last bit of the curves. Or actually the second last bit of the curves. Going to be a little bit before we get to the other end of there. And once we get past the curve, everything is smooth sailing going the rest of the way into this. We just have to get through this stuff. And then the rest of this, it's pretty much a straight shot right into Cumberland Yard. Hit the alerter every so often so we don't screw ourselves over with the PCS valve operating. The worst thing you can do here is just get contemplating, sit back and go, right? Especially if you have warnings on. You could probably do this without the warnings, but if you already see my speed limit's already going up, and so you don't want to sit back and just be like, oh, dang. Come on, I want that speed limit change. Oh, geez, wow, my train's really going. Okay, I'm starting to lose my brakes here. Oh, what happened? It switched to 20. What the heck? Did you see that? It said 35, but it's actually 25. What the heck, man? Right, you do want to hit the alerter every so often with the warnings. You do want to pay attention to what's going on with your train and make sure you can at least keep your train going nice and slow down the hill with as much dynamic brake as you can get away with, and just let the train coast. And in this case, you're barely using any brakes. You don't have to go past at least 53. We didn't go past 53. We probably hit 60 briefly. But otherwise, we're pretty much in great shape. So the Sand Patch grade originally came out for the first game, Train Sim World. It came out in December 2016 as beta. So I wanted to point that out because when it was a beta, there was a lot of bugs and stuff. There still is some bugs in this game. But what I do appreciate about Dovetail Games is they eventually made it DSX Heavy Haul Edition when it came out in March of 2017. And when it eventually came out, it got the improvements and then eventually got some upgrades and whatnot. So AC 4400CW, the SD40-2, and the GP38-2 all came with the first route in the beta. And there's one route that doesn't exist anymore, because it's just not something that they can put in the game. For whatever reason, they just have a really hard time upgrading it. I kind of hope they can eventually find a way to get that to happen, where they can get that upgrade in there. That would be really wonderful to get that one GP, I think it's the GP38 train route that they can't get in there. The original beta only had the SD40-2, and that was about it, basically. Right. Go a little bit more brakes. We need a little bit more brake now. And by the time it came out in 2017, it had everything but the livery designer and the platform step up, along with the C40 8W add-on, along with the New Journeys expansion, which had the SD40 CSX. Those things didn't come with the 2017 version of it. By the time it released in August of 2020, the new version of Train Sim World 2. By the time it got that, after Train Sim World 2020, that's when the GP40-2 add-on ended up getting discontinued, so it was only there for a brief period. Unfortunately, I wish they can keep that. I'm doing really good here, and I see a 50-mile-an-hour zone, and that 50 mile-an-hour zone. Is this going up? It is going up. We're going to slow down some more. That 50-mile-an-hour zone is actually going to be everything that's going to go to Cumberland Terminal. So we're in a fantastic space right now to be able to go towards Cumberland Terminal and get our train to go there where we want it to go. Forgive the little blinkies. I'm just moving stuff around in the other screen so that way it doesn't get in the way. I probably should set this up to be something like not full screen, but I find it easier to see everything when it is in full screen like this. My goodness, this train needs to slow down a heck of a lot more than it already is. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because we're going to be wanting to see where this 50-mile-an-hour zone is here. It's going to be where that truck is. Let's turn on the bell because there could be someone there. And then here comes the first of the whistle stops. And it looks like our grade is finally dropping down to 1.4%. We're almost at the point where we don't need to do anything anymore with this slowdown of our dynamic brakes. So we're going to let our dynamic brake eventually just like burn itself off all on its own. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn off the automatic brake, recharge those a little bit more. Our reserve is still at 131, so we're in great shape with our reserve. This should be Hindman, actually, because I read it there. I don't know what that other place was. The other place, who knows what that other place was. It was some random town in the middle of nowhere. It was definitely not Meyersdale. Oh, it dropped up to 50, so we don't even have to worry about a thing now. Yeah, this definitely is Hindman, I can tell. That should be Hindman Station? Yes, it is Hindman. Okay, that was just like, whoa. Let's just zoom in and try to read that thing. Yeah, that's where it is. The cheap take system or whatever. That tells us it's Hindman. So we're coasting in a pretty good position now. Let's go back to our timetable. So we know when we stop, we're going to get 500. So we're going to have at least one 500 there, a couple 250s, and then a 500 here. And then it's basically turn everything off after that. So we're hoping for the best that we can get 9,000 AP points. If I screwed up somehow, that would suck. Finally back out in the farm country here. And what's really going to slow this game down, unfortunately, for part 3 is the fact that we have to roll up into the actual city and roll into the city. So what can I do there? Not much. I can't do much about that. So dynamic brake 4. There's so much going on in this train here. In between me using my dynamic brakes, me trying to deal with the horn and the bell and all that. Oh God, we've got to slow down. There is a 35-mile-an-hour section coming up right now. So let's go ahead and dynamic brake up to number 8, please. Okay, we're now on a flat track here. So the rest of our cars behind us up this hill up here, it's going to just push us forward a little bit. So that will help get this back up to 35. Again, the thing I hate about this 35 is like, here's the engine. That 35 should not trigger until it hits the very back of the train. But the dumbest thing here is it ends up getting triggered as soon as I roll over it, which is just really dumb. And I wish it didn't do that. I wish it would do it just like the rest of the speed limits, where it either hit on the very back or hit on the very front. Just be consistent across the board. Don't switch this up on me, right? So as soon as I roll into it, let's see what happens. Like, bam, it's like already on 35. It's like, really? Doesn't have to do that, you know? Alright, we got 20 miles an hour at this point, and it's just a matter of just coasting our way, realistically, to the other end. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the dynamic brake because it's just getting really annoying to hear it all day long. Oh, really? Is it really going to push me faster? Oh my God, it's going to push me faster. When we do stop, we want to at least around, maybe 3,000 feet or so, because we're going about 20 miles an hour. 3,000 feet should be enough to do it. And we're not going to hit the 15-mile zone until we stop, so we're in a good position here. 77.55 for our AP points. We need a few more APs to get the rest of the points. Some of this is going to come just rolling on into Cumberland Station, so we'll just work with that as best we can. We don't want to go through that single. That'd be the worst thing ever, to go through the single. So let's start turning on some brakes here. Full service. Oh, I think we're going to make it. This is perfect. This is so perfect right now. We made it just inches before. That's so great. Okay, well, we gotta release this a little bit. Let's go forward now with our throttle. We gotta actually go forward now. This is kind of annoying that we gotta go forward, but we gotta go forward. So, like 30 feet is all it's asking. I can't believe it didn't want to stop with 30 feet, man. Throttle 2. Come on, train. Come on, train. All we're looking for is 30 feet. Not very much to ask here. Alright, perfect. Now we can stop, right? Now it's a good time to stop. Goodness. Okay, let's stop the train now. Automatic brake and independent brake, full application. Now we just have to wait here until we get our clearance.
Cumberland Tower, this is B251 requesting entry to Cumberland. Over.
B251, subject to signal indications, proceed into Cumberland Terminal. Over.
Cumberland Tower, B251 proceeding into Cumberland. Out.
Alright, folks, so our final destination is just... Oh, okay. I guess we're stopping there too, right? We're going to via location, never mind. Via location before we eventually stop. So we have to do 2 via locations and then stop at Emmett Creek, which I believe, if I remember right, is going to park in one of these parking spots here. The other guy's already here. I believe he parked his train already and did his thing. So it's our turn to do the same thing. So let's go ahead and get this train moving forward again. Let's release our automatic brake and our independent brake. We know we need at least 2 throttles to get this train moving again. Blow our horn. And we know we have a 15-mile-an-hour zone coming up here. So we gotta just take our time going through this. This is already 2 hours just to be able to go into Cumberland Station. It's a slight downhill, but the train cars are so heavy that we're not actually... I still need to have some throttle to get moving. Cumberland Terminal. 7,000 feet ahead. Yay, it's going to be a little bit of a drive to get there. So we have a long way before we finally get to the main Cumberland Terminal. Probably once I pass this little junction here, I think that'll be the point, just to keep the bell on the rest of the way, at least until we get to the terminal itself. We could probably even just keep the bell on going forward from this point, but it does get annoying to have that bell on the entire time, especially when I'm standing right next to the bell itself. We're just going to be coasting into the Cumberland Terminal. It is about 7:33 in the evening according to game time here. And we will probably be docking at Cumberland Terminal probably 8 o'clock, I would think. So that makes the most sense at 15 miles an hour in terms of when I will probably get there. Goodness. I know I do have to stop at least in one more location, which is Emmett Creek, which will be the final destination of our train. I don't exactly know where that's going to be, but we're going to find out in about 4,000 feet here where we need to actually make our stop. Alrighty, so parking for this train, 5,000 feet ahead, Emmett Creek. We're going to go check the map and see how far out we have to go. We're basically going to be going all the way out to the other end of the rail line, so that'll be kind of nice. We're already in the track right now, so we're going to be going right by the train that's already parked and just waiting patiently to go. So we're going to keep our speed up actually until we get to about maybe 2,000 away. Then we can kind of pull our throttle back a little bit and just kind of roll us in. That train's already turned off. I would hope it's turned off. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. A lot of times, sometimes they leave those engines running, you know. For all I know, they run out of fuel. This is kind of a cool effect to see. Geez, alerter. Come on, I don't need the PCS valve to open right at the very end of the game. We're at 97.05, so that's definitely good. Yeah, we're going to be hitting, we might even hit 10,000 with this final stop. That'd be nice. Let's go ahead and hit the initial reduction. Get this train slowing down even more. And with the lights here, we're going to go ahead and go to camera 8. And just zoom on ahead here and just wait for my train to get over here. I still can't believe I'm like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, man. That's just so weird that the lights are just like blinky, blinky, blinky. Okay, we're going 4 miles an hour, and I think we can release the brakes at this point. Just let the coal cars push me forward a little bit more. That way we don't accidentally stop in the wrong place, you know? There it goes. You can see the cars moving around there, bumping me around. with the 0.2 downhill, that should be enough to get me to stop at this location here. And the train's naturally kind of coming to stop anyways because of the coal cars. So we'll see how this goes. Release. One more time. And then the final initial reduction. Once we get to about 20 feet, I think that would do it. Oh, it's already going to stop for me. That's going to be great. Alright, well, there we go. We can just stop it right there. And independent brake locked in. Automatic brake locked in. And it says switch off any active lights on the locomotive. We're going to start with that bell because that's kind of annoying. We're going to switch off our ditch lights. We're going to switch off our gauge lights, our step lights. We're going to switch off our main headlight. We're going to switch off our rear headlight. We are going to switch... We don't need to switch that off. We're going to switch off our number lights. That reverses to neutral and automatic brake to full service. It's already on full service. This is already off. Walk over to control center. We don't really have to touch anything else, at least in this train.
Good job. That's us done for the day.
At least on the outside here, we do have to turn off the number lights in the other engines here. One of the problems with hitting this, if you hit the plus button, you're going into one of the cars, but you can't actually see which car this is. And so it's really hard to tell which car I'm actually in here. So if I do the minus button, on the other hand, I'm actually going into the very back car if I got the right thing here. So I'm going to turn these number lights off too. If I do the plus button there, I'm also going into the back car. There's my last of my number lights. And otherwise, you know what I should do here? I should... Oh, the radio's on in this one. Let's go ahead and turn the radio off and actually... Shoot. Let's hit the alerter because I got the alerter issue. Let's see. Ditch lights, step lights. We're going to turn off the step lights in this car. I just realized the alerter's still on. So let's go ahead and turn that alerter off. Turn the... Ooh. Okay. I didn't mean to turn the lights off. I meant to turn the radio off and the warning devices off. That's what I wanted to turn off mostly. And anything else in this one? Step lights, that's it. So yeah, so as I wrap up this mission here, please do like and subscribe and let me know what you think. I know just driving into Cumberland Station, everything kind of gets slow and boring, you know. Let's go ahead and turn off the regular lights and we will get up and going. So I guess I go over there then. Oh, okay, so I go to that control tower, not the same one. And actually, the last thing I probably should do is lock in the handbrake. Fully applied, there we go. I guess I can leave the engine on. I think somebody else is going to take up the engine and do stuff here, so we'll just leave that there. And why is the step light still on in this one? I thought I turned the step lights off. I guess I didn't. That's so strange. Oh, it is off. That's interesting. Well, whatever then. I guess it'll just get stuck on then until the engine shuts off. Anyhow, so we're going to go ahead and head over to the control tower. For the folks that want to cut it loose already, they probably already left by now. For anybody else that just wants to go and enjoy the last bit of the walk here to see whether or not I really did get the gold medal or not, please stay tuned and I will be right over to the control tower. And with this, let's go ahead and see what our final score is finally. And I think we can call this one and done. Or 6 recordings and done later, so to speak. I'll have to sort out my recording now. 10,795, and we got a gold medal, right? Bam. And we are done. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. He's climbing the mountain like me. And I can go a whole lot faster. In fact, I probably should, but I don't want to slip my wheels. My goal is not to slip the wheels in this train, so let's go ahead and hop back in. Which one? Oh my god, this is the last car. I don't want to be here. Let's reset this camera. There we go, that's better. I want to be in this front camera next to my buddy. We got to get this guy a name at some point. I know I'm talking about you and you have no idea I'm here. Look at that, he looks like he knows I'm here. That's funny. Meanwhile, I'm in here and somehow the door is open and I've escaped.